Alright, so let's look at our final deck that we have constructed. Well, yeah, we'll just go through with the deck first, and then we'll go into the sideboard, and then we'll go into the cards that didn't do, or just didn't make the cut. Alright, so let's start. So as you can see, we chopped up those two infantry veterans out. I decided that, you know what, this might not be that good. It's just a 1/1. Does have that tap effect, but it might be a dead draw in game. I don't know. But for now, I'm going to put those to the side. This one's actually, you know, if you do get on one, you can put it down to put some pressure, or you can just save it. You do have to sacrifice it, pay 2, but all of your creatures get +1/+1 until end of turn. So, as you'll see with other cards, since we're creating a bunch of tokens, we have some other cards that I threw in here that buffs our creatures. So if we go wide, you know, 4, 5, 6, 7 creatures on the board, then all of a sudden we're in business. So, thought this was a good idea. Let's go into the Jeskai Sage. We have 3 copies. I think this is all of the Jeskai Sages I have. It is a human. Remember, we're doing a human deck. So we get that +1/+1 every time we cast a non-creature spell. But when it dies, it cycles itself out. So that's, you know, reasonable. 2 mana for a 1/1 with potential to get +1/+1. We can use an instant if we want to buff this. But yeah, like that it draws a card and is a human. Daring Skyjack, 3/1 for 2. He gets flying if you're attacking with 2 other creatures, so I like that, but mainly because he's a human and we need more 2-drops. So that's our 4th 2-drop. And we have Gather the Townsfolk. Even if you just play it for 2 1/1s, this is actually going to help a lot because it has synergy with, you know, with the prowess. It has synergy with some other cards that were coming in, and it also has synergy with not only humans, but also the strategy of going wide. Again, we can buff it up. We have some other cards in here that are going to buff up our creatures, so getting 2 2 1/1 white human creatures is pretty good. If we're ever in that weird situation where we have 5 or less life, obviously having 5 tokens is insane. Maybe potentially we have like 4, 3, 2 life or whatever, and then all of a sudden we cast this. I don't know, maybe it's helpful, but, you know, I'll have to see. I have to play test with this deck. Blinding Mage, really like that it's a 1/2. I mean, I don't really like that it's a 1/2, but I do really like that you can pay 1 mana, tap this, and then tap a creature. So, it's also Human Wizard. Gonna see if that works, see if this is a pretty good card. I don't know. Elusive Spell Fist, it's a 1/3 for 2 mana. But again, this has that upside similar to the Jeskai Mage, where anytime you cast a non-creature spell, it gets +1 to its power until end of turn. It can't be blocked. So otherwise, just a, you know, basic 1/3, having 3 health for a 2 mana drop, pretty decent. Disdainful Stroke, 2 mana, counter target spell with converted mana cost 4 or greater. It's an instant. We're going to have that kind of balanced approach of having human tokens and a little bit of control since we're in blue and white. So this is pretty helpful. Headless Scab, this is a weird one because it's not a human, and you do have to exile a card from your graveyard, so it's not going to be necessarily played on turn 3 because you probably don't have any cards in your graveyard, or creature card at least. You might, I don't know. But, you know, it enters the battlefield tapped, but you get that insane value of a 3/6 for 3 mana. So they're going to have to deal with it eventually. We don't have too many strong creatures in the early game, so maybe this can help us. I don't know. I'm just going to play with it, see what's up. So next up are 2 Stealer of Secrets. These are my only copies. It's another human, but whenever it deals damage to a player, you draw a card. So that's a really good upside. It's a 2/2, which is not really good for a 3 mana. It's not really flying or anything, but that huge upside is really good. So again, we have 3 cards, and then these 2 that have potential to draw us cards. So we have 5 so far. This is the Commander, Zolfarin Commander, yeah. And it's a human knight, 3 mana for 2/2, but it has that flanking ability, so whenever it attacks, if a creature doesn't have flanking, the blocking creature gets -1, -1. On top of that, you can buff this. You do have to crank out 3 mana and 2 whites, or 3 mana including 2 whites, and you get +1/+1. So it is kind of scalable. I don't know, I liked it gonna try and play with it, see how it goes. Hazda Snare Squad, 3 mana for 1/4. Obviously really good with that pay 1 white. If it attacks, you can tap target creature and opponent controls. Pretty good. Kind of similar to that Blinding Mage. Yeah, Blinding Mage. So Apex Hawks. This is not a human, obviously, but it does have that kicker effect, so it is scalable towards the late game. Enters the battlefield +1/+1 counter for each time it was kicked. Again, this could be, I guess turn 5, turn 6. You do have to kick it though, so I don't really know when's the best time to play this, but I thought since we were lacking early game, throw it in here, see how it works. And it is a flyer, so. Okay, Master of Diversion. It's really cool. It's like an ogre giant. This guy's like, I don't know what he's doing exactly. He might have just distracted him, I guess. But anyways, it's a 3 mana for 2/2. Whenever this thing attacks, tap a target creature defending player controls. Pretty good. Pretty annoying. Court Street Denizen. 3 mana for another 2/2. Again, our 3 manas. That's what kind of the point of this guy. These are really our only strong 3 mana creature. But this Court Street Denizen is a human soldier, so it has that going for it. But whenever another white creature enters the battlefield, you tap a target creature and opponent controls. So again, we're being really annoying. This is going to work well with Gather the Townsfolk because I think it triggers twice. Put 2 1/1 counters onto the battlefield. So it says whenever another white creature enters the battlefield, so it's 2, I'm assuming. And this is going to apply also with things like Night Watch, put another 2/2 tokens. Whenever this thing comes into play, another 1/1. Whenever this Angel, another 1/1. So this can be really annoying if we get the right circumstance. But, we'll see how it works. It's only a 2/2. Core Sanctifiers. Instead of putting other destroy artifact or enchantment spells in here, I decided to throw this one in here. You do have to kick it for 1 white mana. But you do get that versatility, and you get the body on the battlefield. So you get a 2/3. Seems alright. I like that it's versatile. It has, 2 things going for it. It's a creature as well as destruction for artifacts and enchantments, so throw it in here. Heavy Madak, it's an equipment. +2/+2 if it's on a human. You have to pay 3, equip for 2, so it's 5 mana total to start utilizing it. Thought it was pretty good for +2/+2 for equipment. That's ongoing once the creature dies, so we'll see how it works out. 2 Mass Appeals. This was kind of the beginning of why I wanted to draft a human deck as well as tokens, because we can go wide. Say we have 3 humans, this is really good value, 3 mana for 3 draw, or we go 4 or 5 plus, it starts getting crazy. So Mass Appeal, had to throw it in here. That was kind of the beginning of the idea of human deck. Guardian's Pledge, this is the beginnings of kind of why I swapped out my other 1-drops, swapped out these guys for this kind of buff all creatures package, because since we are going wide, that's our strategy. We got +2/+2 for all white creatures. Again, there's some blue creatures, it's okay, we're just gonna have to deal with it, but we do have a lot of white creatures, so, and also all those tokens are white mana, or white, just white creatures, so +2/+2 until end of turn. It's an instant if we're trying to save them or if we're trying to go on the offensive. Seems really good. Skymark Rock, really like this card. It's a 4 mana 3/3 flyer, but anytime it attacks, toughness 2 creatures get put back into your opponent's hand. Pretty good. Pretty annoying. Vivisection. So we have, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just looking at draw cards. 6, 7, 8, 9. So we're at 9 so far, including these 2. But Vivisection, essentially you sacrifice one of your tokens, mainly when you use it on a token, that's a 1/1, you draw 3 cards. So that's pretty good. And this guy, 4C, obviously I really like this card. I think I included another one of my decks, but, oh yeah, my red aggro deck. Scry 4, look at the top 4, draw 2 cards. You kind of can make your line of strategy of which play you want to go with. Geist Snatch, Again, we're being annoying. We're going to hold these until they cast a big creature, and on top of that we get a 1/1 flyer. So we get another token that we can utilize on the board, go wide. Before I had these 2 mana counter summons, counter target creatures, so decided to go with these instead of those 2 mana ones. Just need 2 in my eyes, don't need a full play set, don't need to include these 2 and then another of those 2, because I think that'd be going overboard, but we'll see. I think I included some of them in the side deck. We'll see. I kind of forgot. So, but I really like these because of that 1/1. You save these for a big creature summon, boom, it's an instant. So, it does require 2 islands though. But okay. Next up is Inspired Charge. This is potentially a finisher because it's all creatures you control get +2/+1 regardless of the color. So again, we have this. We have where's the other one? Guardian's Pledge. This only applies to white creatures, but this applies to all. So if we're going in for the kill, we go wide, really helps out. Those cost 4 mana, 2 whites. Nav Squad Commandos, again, we're not really good on stat-wise on our creatures, so any kind of, something that will last is pretty helpful. This one also has that battalion effect, similar to this guy, where he has attack himself as well as 2 other creatures. That's easy to do with a wide board, and you get +1/+1, so it becomes a 4/6, and then you untap it, so it essentially has vigilance. So, seems alright. It's also another human soldier. And then these guys I really liked because it follows that theme of being the human. It is 5 mana, but you get a 3/2 flyer, but you also draw a card. So, is that really good value? I don't know, don't really care. It's a human and also has draw a card, seems really fit in this deck. We aren't too heavy on the 5 spot. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 5 cards, at least for creatures. Oh wait, yeah, just 5 mana plays, because it's in creatures and spell. Yeah, okay. Sorry about that. So after those 2, we're getting into Night Watch. This as well gives 2 tokens. They both have vigilance. They're 2/2s. Heavy mana price. Not sure if it's completely worth it. They do say night creatures, but they look like humans, so playing house rules, as long as my opponent's cool thinking that these are humans, I'm going to count these as humans, so we're going to put them in our human deck. So yeah, Commander's Authority, 1/1 white human creature token onto the battlefield. You enchant a creature, so hopefully you can enchant like a flyer or something that will last on the battlefield. And constantly get that 1/1 token to trigger our multiple effects. If we're going wide, if we're, setting up for vivisection or, appease the crowd, or I mean mass appeal, not appease the crowd, then yeah, we can utilize it. So this one's weird because it is 6 mana for 5/5. Again, we don't have too many strong creatures, but it potentially has infinite value. You do have to skip your turn, but it comes into play from your graveyard. So, with that being said, you do have to skip your next turn, so you don't draw, you don't do anything, you don't tap. You really have to time making sure that it's a good time to resurrect it, to get that potential infinite value, because you do lose a turn. So this card, again, it's kind of weird. You do have to skip your turn, so you have to time when you put it back onto the battlefield from your graveyard. But just having that value, if you don't have any good plays, this actually might be a completely dead card because you do lose your turn, so I might completely hate it and have to swap it out or something. But again, we don't have too many, threats, like, something that's actually big and you have to deal with it. We just have kind of like these small, like weak creatures, and we're going wide, but it's good to have something that can potentially carry you. I don't know, gotta play test with this, but losing that turn does suck a lot. But at the same time, I'm gonna try it out. So next up is Voice of the Provinces. We have 2 copies, 6 mana for a 3/3 flyer, really bad value. And you also get 1/1 token, human creature. It's an angel, it's not a human itself, but that extra token could help out. We go wide. There's some synergies with our plus power spells. We can use that token for this. We can use that token for mass appeal. So just not really in love with the card, but might as well throw it in here, try it out. So, and the remaining is just lands. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 9 islands, 1 Terramorphic Expanse, and then this is 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Did I count that right? Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we have 13 of these. This one just has a utility. It provides white, but once it enters the battlefield, you can give protection from a color for, you know, whatever creature that you want to choose. So we have 23 lands. Again, this is our 4th deck, so we're pretty limited on lands. That's kind of why, you know, I only have these. These are, I think, my last remaining land piles over here. So this is all of the like mana producing things that we have, because I'm using all the swamps, now I'm using all the islands. So once I found out about the humans, and a lot of humans were blue and white, it just made sense to try and make a 4th deck. Obviously I can't make a 5th, but that's our humans, that's our main deck right now. Here is our side deck. Again, we're gonna have to go through some adjustments, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So this guy, he's a 1/1/2, does have that upkeep, but he provides an interesting effect. So he deals damage to target attacking blocker or attacking creature, equal to the number of age counters on this guy. You have to tap him. So, you know, you play him down, next turn you have to put an age counter, you have to tap another mana. That upkeep is annoying because it is scalable, so you have to put another counter next turn. Now his upkeep is 2. Another age counter, his upkeep is 3. However, that does increase his potential to be tapping things and dealing damage. So, very interesting card. Didn't really make the cut, so I put him in the sideboard for now. He might be good. I only have one other 1-drop. This one isn't really good for 1 mana plays because of that upkeep. So this is more of like a even then, it's like you don't necessarily want to draw a 1-drop in the mid to late game. So not really sure about this, but still kind of interesting. 2 Sundering Growths, so destroys target artifact or enchantment, then populate, so we could make another token. Helps us go wide, as well as providing that benefit of destroying an artifact or equipment. We have 2 of those. Feeling of Dread, this is another control kind of card. Instant, 1 mana, 1 any. Tap up to 2 target creatures, then it sits in your graveyard. You can flash it back. Pretty good. If you want additional control. Crown of Ascension, now this can benefit when we do go wide. We put this on a human, and we sacrifice this, now all of our humans get flying. Pretty good if we can buff them all up. Say we have 6 creatures, this, that 1 instant spell that gives us +2 power. Could be a finisher, but it is kind of combo-ish. This isn't really good as standalone because it's just flying for 1 creature, doesn't really provide plus stats to anything, so put it in the sideboard for now. Rootborn Defenses, this is another similar card to this, where it gives you an effect. Creatures you control are indestructible this turn, that's pretty dang good, and you also get the populate. So you create another human token, pretty versatile in this kind of style of a deck. Phalanx Formation, I put this in the sideboard because, again, if we are trying to go for that combo card, go wide, not sure how that's going to play out, got to playtest a little bit, because it might not be reliable, and if that's not reliable, then these cards by themselves aren't that good. So put them in the sideboard for now, but if that strategy does pan out, we can use this. Use Strive, so you do have to pump this, essentially, to give it to multiple targets, because you pay 3 for 1 target, then you have to pay 2 more for each additional target, but they all get double strike. So that's very, very potentially good, because it deals both first strike and regular combat damage. It's double strike, so really nice, especially if you can get that crazy combo with this. So I'm not sure, but moving on, Rakshasha's Disdain, awesome art. It's a tiger with, I don't know, like I guess he's just countering a spell because counter target spell unless its controller pays 1 for each card in your graveyard. Could be scalably insane if you have like 8 cards in your graveyard. They're not going to pay that, so it's just a 3 mana to counter any spell. Very versatile. Throw it in the side deck for now because I think I have 2 counter summons and then 1 counter any spell. Maybe we want more control, maybe we don't, I don't know. So put it in the sideboard. This one, again, if we go wide, we have that defensive strategy. It's just an enchantment, ongoing enchantment. Untapped creatures you control get +0/+2, so +2 toughness, 4 mana. Not 100% sure how good this is. Not 100% sure, but it's kind of interesting, so I threw it in here. Maybe playtest with it. Sleep is crazy. It's a sorcery, but 4 mana, 2 blues. Tap all creatures the opponent controls, and then on their next untap, they don't untap. Pretty insane, if I'm thinking of it correctly. So, yeah, that could be crazy if you're trying to break through. Maybe they have a good board presence. Boom, you cast this. They're all tapped. Those creatures don't. Oh no! Dang, never mind. So it's not as good. So they aren't tapped. So oh no, yeah, they tap all creatures target player controls. Yeah, the first time I read this, I was like, that's pretty strong, right? So could potentially get us through. Put it in the sideboard for now. Let's see how the regular deck pans out. So Scattering Stroke, another counter target spell. This one's 4 though. Instant. This one you clash with an opponent, which means both you guys, both you and the opposing player, top card is revealed for both of your decks. Whoever has the highest mana cost of that revealed card wins. If you win, obviously if you don't win, that's the end of it. You just counter the spell. But if you win, you add that mana of the converted mana cost. So obviously if you're going to win, most likely it's going to be a higher cost card that could potentially be insane on your next turn for your mana pool. So I don't know. Seems interesting. Iona's Judgment, versatile card because you can use exile target creature or enchantment. So, you know, but it is a 5 mana. If we want more control, put it in here. Rite of Undoing. This one, you delve, so it could potentially be a 1 mana, 1 blue, I mean. You do have to exile cards from the graveyard, but still, that's pretty insane. Because you return, essentially, a target non-land permanent you control and a target non-land permanent they control. So, you know, we do have, I think I counted 5 good effects to bounce back into our hand. Let's see here. Actually, we don't have too many. Maybe this, we can bounce back. So never mind, we don't have too many good bounce backs. Because, oh, these guys, we draw another card, that's pretty good to bounce back. But still, they're 5 mana. This is 6 mana to get that extra token. It's not really worth it in my opinion, so not really that good. I was mainly attracted to the Delve and the potential to have 1 blue for, you know, essentially send one of their guys back to their hand, or non-land permanent back to their hand, so put it in the sideboard for now. Aven Surveyor, this has the flexibility. It's 5 mana for a 2/2 flyer, but you get that return creature to its owner's hand. So, or you can just get a 1/1, which is a 3/3, but for 5 mana, 3/3 flyer, not sure if that's worth it. It's mainly, I'm looking at the return target creature to its owner's hand. Flexible because you can use it on yourself or the opponent. Gotta see, because I don't know if this is that good. So, gotta see if it's worth it. Maybe playtest with it a couple times. Strandwalker, it's a living weapon, 5 mana, comes down as a 2/4 as a creature with reach. And then once that dies, once the living weapon dies, it becomes just an equipment, so you have to apply 4 mana to attach it to another creature. But if we do need that anti-air, and plus just having +2/+4 as equipment is pretty strong. You're gonna most likely win most of your combats with that creature. Had to throw in the sideboard, so that's our sideboard. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So now we're gonna move into the cards that didn't make the cut, because remember if you watched the whole video, I know it's kind of a long one, but we're, you know, just going through our cards. We went through a 1,000 card lot. We already made 2 decks. We're working on a 3rd. This is our 4th. So based off the mana pool, we found that humans were decent because they were white and blue. So these are just the remaining cards that didn't quite make the cut. So again, this was initially in that pile of cards that I was really interested in, because it was a human, 1/1 for 1. We can curve out potentially really well, but maybe we don't need 1-drops in our deck. I'm not sure. But in the case of this guy applies to all tokens. This guy only applies to 1 attacking creature. This guy you do have to sacrifice though. But if we do have that wide board presence, 6, 7 tokens, we can crank that out. So didn't make the cut. This one's just pretty basic, 2/1 with vigilance. I don't know. It's just not it's not necessarily bad, it's just didn't make the cut in my eyes. So next up is Tidal Surge, tap 3 target creatures without flying if we're trying to break through. But I decided to include Sleep into our deck. Kind of takes the place of that. Remove Soul and Essence Scatter, counter target creature spells. These are the 2-mana ones, but remember I'm playing with that 4-mana one, even though it does, I think it was like Soul Catcher, Soul Snatch or something like that. Geist Snatch. And this one we get a 1/1 with it. So remember, every time we get that 1/1, we get a wider board presence. We can utilize it to sacrifice for Vivisection, or just use it to have that plus, to benefit from the plus power cards that we have. So didn't quite make the cut. This one is kind of like that other Delve card where it has the potential to, return target creature you control and target creature you don't control to their owner's hands. Didn't quite make the cut. This one, a little bit too slow. You put it into play. Once it goes in the graveyard, destroy target artifact or enchantment. I have that Chorus Cleric or whatever it was where you have to kick it and then you can destroy something, but you get a 2/3 body, even though it is like 1 more mana. So Niblis of the Mist. We already have a bunch of creatures that tap other opposing creatures, so even though this is really nice for 3 mana for 2/1 flyer, and you get to tap a creature, it's not a human, so really nice, but it didn't quite make the cut. Avian Changeling, 3 for 2/2, becomes a human because it's every creature type. Again, didn't make the cut, even though it is pretty nice. Misvast Protector, didn't quite make the cut. 4 mana for 2/3, and you have to use it on your turn. It's not really a flash human or a flash creature, so have to use it proactively. Ascended Lawmage, really like this card because it's hexproof and a flyer. 3/2, but again, it's not a human. It does cost 4 mana. Still really like this card though. I think it's sweet. Rite of Undoing, we already have one in the sideboard. These are the Sewer Card Banishers. We got 3 of them in our 1,000 card lot. This one's really nice because you play it on 5 to get a 3/3 body, and you return tapped creature to its owner's hand. So it has to be tapped though. So not sure about that. Quick Geyser, but I don't know. These might be really good. It's just, again, not a human, but Quicksilver Geyser, 5 mana, return up to 2 target non-land permanents to the owner's hand. Pretty good. Instant spell. Obviously, you're probably going to most likely use it for your opponent, but can be used for yourself. And Will of the Naga, very similar to Sleep. We can delve it for potentially make only 2 blues, tap up to 2 creatures. They don't untap, but decided to throw Sleep in the sideboard. And again, got to play test, got to refine the deck. So yeah, that is our human deck. Hope you guys enjoyed. It was an interesting process, and just wanted to showcase kind of like what I am thinking when I'm making these hilariously bad jank decks from, a 1,000 card lot for 25 bucks. So obviously we're not going to get high powered stuff, but I'm really happy that I made a 4th deck, utilize as many lands as I possibly could, even though my ratios probably aren't ideal. I think like my red aggro deck didn't have enough manas in it, so just got to get more cards, got to accumulate the collection a little bit more, build up my stockpile, but I'm really glad that I got 4 decks out of this 1,000 card lot. And yeah, that's the video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you stuck around, thank you. But yeah, take it easy, guys.